Hey everyone. So today I wanted to talk about basically being in the minority rather than the majority. So as we know, last year people have saved the most money that they've ever saved as a nation in the United States of America. But this year, they're spending more money than they've ever spent. You had things on layaway for Christmas. You have your New Year's resolutions. You have your Thanksgiving holidays and things of that nature. And then we're getting into a lot of job uncertainty, higher food prices, higher gas prices, higher housing costs. And then you see people now moving in with parents because of job loss or the potential job loss. You see people moving in with roommates. You see people spending more money even on the same items because they're just more expensive. Because of this, that savings that they've initially had is now being depleted. They're looking at even putting money on credit cards, putting items on credit cards, and hoping that they will be able to pay them off. You're also looking at those who may not have put a lot of money down on a home and potentially lost their job, and now within 6-7 months, they're looking at potentially not being able to afford that home. And if you didn't put a lot of money into the house, whether it's 3% down, 5% down, and then the value of the home decreases by 10, 20%, it's very likely that instead of paying on the home, that they'll rather just walk away from it. Now, here's what I would do if I was in that same situation. If I had put 3 or 5% down and the price of the home is now 10% less and I'm -7% or -5%, I would continue to pay on it. And here's why. Within the next 10 years or so, that -7% equity would have been eradicated. Your house would have grown or appreciated by 20, 30, maybe even 40%. And at the same time, within that 10-year span, you've probably already paid down about 20, 30, maybe even 35% of that equity in the home. So looking at it as you overpaid and just walking away from it can ding your credit for about 7 years, rather than you just continuing to pay on it and being in a better situation. Now, if I lost my job, I would look at having roommates. I would look at other ways to supplement my income in order to afford the property. Now, understanding that the average home costs around $450,000 means that roommates probably won't be able to cover the rent costs, right? A lot of people pay more monthly to own a home than they would to rent a home. And that's just the bottom line. A house that costs $450,000, depending on the property taxes and the state taxes, you may be anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 a month in a payment. And because of that, renting a 3-bedroom, let's say in Ohio, may only cost you $1,500 to $1,400 a month before utilities. And so you can be significantly under the cost of ownership. And of course, roommates would potentially pay less than that, depending on how many bedrooms you had as well. With that being said, there's still opportunities to make money. However, for someone who may have owned a home that is $450K or more, those options and job choices may be limited depending on your skill set. Another thing that I wanted to address is, since everyone was saving a lot of money and now they're spending more than they had in the previous years, what is going to happen? Well, that savings is going to be depleted, right? They're going to start tapping into their credit. They're going to start tapping into the equity in their homes. For those who are looking to buy for the first time, They may be moving in with parents, saving up an even higher down payment, especially because the cost of home ownership is now higher and the interest rates are now higher. What I expect in 2023, I do not expect a lot of people to be purchasing homes. In fact, unlike the last 2 to 3 years, you're going to see less home buyers in 2023 than you have seen in the last 3 years for sure, due to the higher interest rates, unless the interest rates go down. What I expect in 2024, I expect interest rates to go down slightly. I expect people to get used to the new normal of interest rates being around 6 and 5%. I expect housing prices to have corrected enough to where people are more comfortable now purchasing homes. I expect the understanding that if a property is bought at $5,000 less than before, and then 6 months from now another 5,000 less, and then 6 months from now another 5,000 less, the property in 2024 is now $15,000 less in equity than it was in 2023 with a lower interest rate. And I think that is when people are going to start buying a lot more aggressively. I do see a lot of price cuts on properties that are way overpriced. So they're starting out overpriced and then they're working down to normal price, which is very, very confusing to me. Instead of just putting the property with every other property at $300,000, they're listing it for $400,000. Then they're knocking $50,000 off, so it's $350,000. Then they knock another $25,000 off, so it's $325,000. But it's still overpriced by $25,000 because every other house on the block is going for $300,000. And then when they list it for $300,000, it's already been 160 days, and there's no buyers, right? But now maybe someone who is unaware of the market may be a little confused as to why the house dropped so much, and they be maybe even willing to buy at normal price. And here's what I think is happening. Maybe the seller is not really interested in moving at the time, but with the extra incentive of $100,000, they may be willing to move. Or with the incentive of $25,000, they may be willing to move. And until that, they're just chipping away every single month until they get to the normal asking price. And at that point, they're probably more willing to move to that new location. Maybe it was for a job, maybe it was for family that they wanted to move. And now that it's time for them to move, they're now pricing their house according to what the market actually demands of them. So again, what am I doing during this time? Well, I'm doing the opposite of what others are doing. When everybody's spending, I'm saving. When everybody was saving, I was spending, right? When everybody was saving money for whatever reason, I was buying properties. Now, when everybody is spending money, I'm saving it so that I can do better with the opportunities that come about later on in life. Right now, housing is very expensive. Interest rates are very expensive. This is the most expensive time to buy a property. And of course, you could refinance and get a cheaper loan later on. And so if you find a property that is just a gem that you must have that you won't see next year, then yeah, you can definitely purchase it now and later on refinance into a cheaper interest rate. But the price that you bought it for may come down a little bit and you may not be able to refinance for some time. You might have to hold on it for 10, 15 years before you're able to refinance into something better. So with that being said, you want to be sure that this is a property that you just simply must have, whether it's an investment or something for your family, and that you plan to keep for at least 5 to 6 to 7 years in order to have enough equity to refinance and do whatever it is you want to do or sell if it comes to that. So with that being said, yes, I am looking at saving, because with saving comes opportunity. When you have money, you are able to take advantage of the opportunities around that. And when you don't have money, you cannot take advantage of opportunity. Everybody says, oh yeah, I would have done this, I would have done that in 2008, I would have did this in 2019, I would have did this in 2024. But ultimately, if you don't have the cash on hand, if you don't have the ability to do what it is that you need to do, you simply won't be able to do anything. And so right now, when everybody's spending, I'm saving so that I'm ready for opportunity. When opportunity meets preparation, you get success. So if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.